I am currently a field investigator for the Oregon chapter of the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON. These are sightings of UFOs that I have had in my lifetime. They are renderings that I have created and not actual video recordings. At the age of 15, I saw my first real UFO, and it was the best one. It got me hooked on the fact that they are real. It occurred from my neighborhood about 10 miles north of Boston. I love astronomy and would gaze at the stars from my bed next to the window as I fell asleep. One night I was shocked to see a tiny bright red disk slowly crossing the stars. I shouted to my family, "Flying saucer," grabbed a pair of 7x50 binoculars and ran outside. I thought of my camera, but being knowledgeable about photography in those days of film, I realized that the best I would get is a tiny point of red light, probably a zigzag trace as my hands shook. To my eyes, the disk was about third the angular size of the moon, just big enough to see it had shape, and it was not just a point of light. Through binoculars, though, its edges shimmered as if radiating heat. At that time, I was a member of an astronomy club that met at Harvard College Observatory. I thought to write a letter to the rector of the observatory to see what he thought. To my surprise, he wrote back. Some of you who are conspiracy theorists may recognize the name as one of the key members of Majestic 12, commonly known as MJ-12. In the early 1970s, I was working at the Mount Washington Observatory in New Hampshire. Mount Washington is known as home of the world's worst weather because of its extreme combination of wind, cold, and icing. It was a dream come true for me to be working there. We had the world's record wind for the highest wind ever observed by a manned weather station, and that was 231 miles per hour. One summer night, as I was doing a weather observation, I noticed what I thought was a small plane's landing lights. There was no noise. Suddenly it flashed 3 different colors and vanished. For this rendering, I gave it size for visibility. In reality, it was just a point of light. My next sighting was around 1980, and I was working for the University of Virginia Astronomy Department, and part of my job was to be the telescope operator at the monthly public nights, where we would let the public view through one of our large telescopes. As I was centering up the next celestial object for the visitor, a young woman came up the steps to the observing chair, sat down beside me, and asked, "Do you ever see any UFOs?" And this was a true story. Just then, a red point source of light drifted across the field of view of the finder. Most recent sighting was from our home in Astoria, Oregon. We were watching TV when I heard the rumble of jets. It did not sound normal as the sound got louder, softer, and changed in pitch as if they were changing direction. After a while, I decided to go out and look, but it was completely cloudy, so I went back in. The rumble kept up. The next commercial TV break, I checked the sky again, saw a bright point of light traveling across an opening in the clouds, appearing like the International Space Station, but traveling in the wrong direction. I thought, well, that's interesting, but there's nowhere near the sound of the jets. And just after that, I heard the jets maneuver over to where I last saw the object. I have a camera that I set outside my office window most every clear night. It has a real sensitivity to it, about the same as looking through a pair of binoculars. Also, the field of view is about the same. There's a lot of activity up there. All these are natural or man-made objects. These are satellites right here. And this is sunlight reflecting off a satellite that flashed there. This is a meteor. That's an airplane or helicopter. These are star trails by leaving the camera lens open for about 20 minutes at the Oregon Star Party. This is the Milky Way from the Oregon Star Party, about 50 miles east of Prineville, Oregon.